Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to peek at Bitcoin just for a moment, but then I'm going to jump into Theta and Solana. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Got some interesting ideas for you. But you say, why you do a Bitcoin video? You did one yesterday. Well, I got some new information that I thought about, and I want to share it with you here. So check this out. So basically, yesterday I said, hey, simple ascending triangle. And basically, we broke above the ascending triangle, right? And potentially coming back down to back test the ascending triangle and then continue higher into that fifth wave, right? So the fifth wave would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in that fifth wave. So we'll see if that happens. Another idea is a little more complex, but basically, um, you know, we work out this area up in here, but eventually we work our way back down to backtest this area. Because remember, we broke out of this area, right? We broke out, but we never came back down to retest it as the new support. So that could be a reason why we come back down. And here's the idea. Here's the new idea. So if I bring this up here, well, first let me just show you. So looking at this as an ABC, right? So here's your A wave. Here, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. So it'd be A, all of this is B, and then we come down for C. And what that would be is some type of running flat or potentially even an expanding flat. So, in other words, we're working on this B wave, right? And the B wave itself is a WXY. So that would be the B wave, right? So now the question is B finished, right? This is just one idea. So, you know, entertaining it for the time being. Maybe B has another hit to the high. Then we come down for C. So, for example, on the right hand side, you can see here are some examples of expanded or irregular flats, running flat, right? So something to that effect. You could see here, if it is, right, we have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, we break the high. Same thing here, 3, 3, we broke the high. Then we come down in 5, take out this low, and then accelerate to the upside. And, that would be essentially like another liquidity grab. So if I had to draw it, it would look something like this, right? Maybe B's got one more hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get everybody super bearish, right? Everybody's like, what's going on? It's panicking. It's over. Bitcoin's topped. It was a fake out, right? Because that's what it likes to do, right? So, when we consolidate right here, right? We're consolidating. We break out. Everybody's bullish. But then when we go down in 5 ways, when we come right back down, what happens? Everybody says what? It was a fake out. It was a fake out to the down. It was a fake out to the upside. Now it's over. We're going down. But have you ever heard of a double fake out? That's sort of what a flat pattern does. It's a double fake out, right? And it's kind of like, it kind of twists your head around like, whoa, where did that come from? And it's not usually common. I guess it is in crypto, right? So basically, you come down here, and then you accelerate to the upside, right? You get all this liquidity, then you start to really shoot on up to the upside, and that could potentially be what's in store. And I really, I like that idea for two reasons. One, it basically screws up everybody, right? And you say, well, why is that good? Well, because, when people are too cocky in their trade, over leveraged, whatever, they get wiped out. All that liquidity pours into the market. And then it causes a reversal for us hodlers, right? If you're a hodler, right? I always say I'm 90% a hodler, 10% trader. So I'd rather my hodl position play better than my trading position. So, but if you're trading it, it could be tricky, right? And definitely not financial advice. Anything I say is, not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong. These are just ideas, potential ideas that could occur, and something to keep an eye on, right? So, again, here's your examples right here. So you have a regular flat, right? Which basically the B wave doesn't take out the high. Well, we can rule that out because the B wave already took out the high. And then you have this here, expanded or irregular flat, right? Which in case the B wave took out the high. So that's a contender. This one down here, it's a running flat. The B wave didn't take out the high, but I'm pretty sure that a running flat could also, there's two caveats to it. I think the B wave can take out the high, and essentially, it's sort of like a running correction. So, for example, basically, if it's a expanded or regular flat, you would come down here. If it's a running flat, it would come, over here. And basically, it's a flat correction. It's flat, right? Boom, 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 right? So that's an idea for everybody to consider. Another idea basically says that this is finished, right? So this is a finished move, which is an A. This was B and this was C. And now, this is a 1, 1, 2. Now we're working on 3, 4, 5, right? So for me, right, I would like for this flat correction to play out. And because, I'd really like to see this area back tested. If we come down in here, right, and get this area tested, this down move, like I said, is going to get everybody super bearish, because even more bearish because we took out this high. We took out this high. We took out this high. So everybody's like, okay, let's go. We're ready to go. Let's increase our leverage. We broke out. We're looking good. We're just coming down for a back test, just a little bit, and then we're going to continue on up. But little do they know, potentially, right? Potentially, that this could be a C wave, right? So let me take that off. So in other words, this would be A, this would be B, and now we're working on that C wave. So not saying that's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's an idea for you. So basically, yeah. Now, an expanded flat or a regular flat or whatever, it can get pretty deep, right? It can get really deep. So we can actually come down here and catch up with the bull market support band, which would be, it would be healthy, because, we haven't tested it in a while. The last time we tested it was back over in October, I suspect. But check this out. When the price, we entered the bull market support band, we came down, but when we broke above it, we really never got a good test, right? Usually when you break above, you want it to come down, test, and then continue higher, come back down and test, because it's supporting the price, right? I always say, look at this band as a charging station, right? And the price is an electric car, right? Think of the price like a Tesla, and the band is a Tesla charging station or something, right? The car is going to run out of battery. It's going to run out of juice. It needs to come back, charge up, so it can continue to support the price. So just be, this channel is just to say, hey, look, just be cautious because anything can happen. And I want to provide those ideas, those opportunities. So people aren't caught off guard. Because think about it. I mean, be honest. If something like this happened, it would certainly ruffle some feathers and it would certainly concern people, right? But I'm sitting here saying, don't be concerned, don't be alarmed, because again, as long as we're above this green bull market support band, we have nothing to be bearish about at all. In fact, it would be better if we come back down and retest it, because right now we are about, we are 31% away from the bull market support band. That is a big percentage, and you might not think so, but for Bitcoin it is a big percentage. So altcoins, they can pump up 20-30% in a day, but when Bitcoin does it, it's very rare. Usually Bitcoin is a 2 to 5 to 7% daily move, right? Most of the time it's flat around there. So but yeah, that's sort of the new idea, and basically it's gives confluence into the ideas I had yesterday. So there you go. There's Bitcoin for you. Now, if this were to occur, so let me just put it on here. A, B. Now C can stop here. It can stop here. It can stop here, or it can all the way go down. We don't know yet until it starts to actually initiate. And yeah, so zooming out, what that would look like, right, is basically just a minor, correction. And that would give confluence into the idea I had yesterday, which is basically, we're working through these accumulation areas, right? Accumulation, breakout, sideways accumulation, breakout, right? So notice here, when we broke out into the second accumulation box, we came down, we tested it. We broke up, came back down, danced around with it a little bit, broke back up. So, eventually we will, I don't know when, but we will come back down and retest that green bull market support band at some point. So when it happens, it's actually a good thing, not a bad thing, because at that point, we'll see, okay, can the price sustain? Can the price hold? What is it going to do? Now, taking all that off and zooming back in to the 4-hour, this could still be, like I said, bullish in the short term, rather, right? Not the immediate short term, of course, but so we have an A, B, C. We come down, we back test this area here, right? Sort of like an ascending triangle. And then we continue marching our way up 47, 50K. And once we get up into that 47, 50K, it'll be very interesting to see if we get a super strong rejection or we get sideways consolidation, right? That's why I'm sort of like, let's just, to me, as a hodler, you want the price to go up. But when you understand, the technicals involved, sometimes as a hodler, you actually want the price to go down, right? Because sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, because if the price does come up, completes that fifth wave, and then we start rocking to the downside, that would suck, right? But if the price is like in a flat where we go A, B, C, and we get that healthy correction, right? Backtest this area or potentially retest the bull market support. But then what it does is it allows us to continue higher than we ever thought before, right? So if this occurs or something like this occurs and we continue higher, it's going to get us much higher. But if we start climbing up now, it's not going to get us as high. So we either, bite the bullet and go down a little bit so that we can have a bigger upswing, or we just, continue to grind up, but it won't be as impactful, right? So it's all about short term, medium term, long term. For me, I'm a long term, medium to long term hodler, right? So I want the price to continue to go up. I don't need it to go up today, tomorrow, next week, next month. I need it to go up after it's done having a nice correction. Now, again, we might not get this correction, right? And at that point, I could take all that off and say this, which basically is if we're really bullish, right? We still get a little correction, but we continue to grind our way out of here. But I would expect something like this, right? Like I said yesterday, I would expect something like this, another base to be built before a bigger breakout. If we're going to break out into new all-time high. Now, if you were to ask me, are we going to break out into new all-time high? A big part of me says no. A big part of me says this is just a retracement. But I will happily be proven wrong, right? So for me, when you look at a chart, you want to basically say, you want to be conservative as possible. And then you rule out different things as the days and as the candles continue to be printed on the chart, right? So as we're up here, I'm thinking, okay, this is still a retracement. Now, so for me, if we're going to break out a new all-time high, what I would like to see, what I would really want to see is us to get a little bit higher, right? Go sideways for a bit, just like down in here, and then break above the range with some big volume and a big breakout, a back test, and then once we get that back test and a follow through, then I'm like, okay, yeah, it's looking really good for a breakout, right? So yeah, we'll see. But if we start breaking below the range down here, then I'm going to say we're going to back test the bull market support band. If we break below that, then we have one last potential, chance, right? We have one last chance, and that is a test of this right here, a back test of that. Basically, I think this was about 6 months of sideways accumulation, a big base. So if we break out, we come down, we back test this base, and we get a nice follow through, then we still have another good chance at challenging these all-time highs up in here. But if we break below that, if we break below this, then I'm going to think, okay, we're going down into reaccumulation. What is reaccumulation? Basically, it's, you got to understand the phases, right? First, you have a rise, right? That's what get everybody excited. They all buy in. Then they distribute to them. Then we have a big bear market. They just lost all their money. Now everybody's down here and they're like, okay, we're got to go lower, right? But then the whales buy it. Then we go into a retracement. Then it gets everybody excited again. They buy back in and they say, okay, let's go. But then what happens? We come all the way back down. But we don't break this low. We just come down a little bit, right? We come down here. And then what do people do? They sell. They get out because they think it's going down, when in reality, it's going in a reaccumulation phase. So as retail jumps in here, so that's basically what the whales do, right? They want to get this retracement going, get everybody excited, only to then, distribute back to them just a little bit so that they can reaccumulate much more than they ever have before at a discount, right? Because if you're a whale, why would you be buying here? You should have been buying here. Look, it's 2023 all the way to 2024 has been up. 2023, up, 2024. If you're a whale, why would you buy here? You wouldn't. You would wait for a pullback, right? You would wait for a big reaccumulation phase. And then once we start going sideways in here, that's when the whales can identify, okay, this is reaccumulation and we're about ready to go much higher. And a good example of that is back over here. So you have rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, blast off. And in this reaccumulation, you had this sort of sideways box. Now we broke below the box. Obviously, that was a black swan event. But basically, this right here was a reaccumulation phase right in here. So it'll be interesting. Let me show you. Let's try, if I take a bars pattern here, and I'm going to get to Theta, and I'm going to get to Solana, so just sit tight. But, you know, if you hold those assets, you're going to want to know this because, you know, I think it's good information. So I'm thinking, you know, Bitcoin somewhere up here. We come down, right? Let me take that bars pattern. I'll drag it over here. Probably seen this before, but something like this. Now, I don't think it's going to be that big. I mean, let me make it a little bit smaller here. So something like that. Let me go up into the 3-day chart. You know, something like this, right? Maybe we get, like I said, maybe we get a little higher. I still think 47.51 is a good chance. Now, if we start breaking through, like I've said before, these retracement levels up in here, then I'm going to change my mind and say, hey, you know, this is much more bullish than we think, right? But I have to treat it this way until it proves otherwise. So I would say between 57 and 52. If we break through 52, then I'm going to be very optimistic, especially if we break 57. So that's the area to break, the 702 and the 786. But until then, I'm thinking this. Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, right? So basically, if I put it in here, so this would be an accumulation. And it's kind of like a twist between the 2016, 2015 bear market accumulation and 2018, 2019. So for example, it's not going to be this and it's not going to be that. It's going to be a mixture of this and that, right? So this was much more bullish than this because this had to come down for reaccumulation. This was just, you know, sideways, markup, sideways, markup, sideways, parabolic. This was more of a retracement, a back test, and then a continuation. So if you look at what's going on now, we have accumulation, sideways accumulation, breakup, sideways accumulation. That's what's going on over here. But then we could potentially get this sort of bull flag type of thing in here, right? So let me show you. If I just draw this like that and like this, right? You can see sort of that bull flag type of thing going on here. So, you know, something like that, right? Now, granted, it is different because this was much more impulsive and there was no sideways bases, right? Only one. This over here has two sideways bases. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we're going to get that reaccumulation like we did back over here. It could be just a full-on thing like we got back in 2016. So again, it's very tricky to know what happens in the retracement levels. And think about it. Retracement levels come in at what time? Election year. The retracement levels come in, during the Bitcoin ETF. It comes in at the beginning of the new year, right? So a lot of things could happen. a lot of unknowns, uncertainties. But if you stick around and, subscribe to the channel, it'd really help me out. And also, I will keep you up to date on all of these unknowns and uncertainties, because it's all about ruling them out as the time comes. And I'll be here for the journey, and I hope you will too. Obviously, if you're a crypto holder and you're a hodler, at the end of the day, these videos don't mean anything, because nothing's going to shake you out of your position. Nothing's going to shake me out of my position. The whole point of it is, to hold until we're satisfied, right? To hold until we're satisfied. So the biggest question is when moon, right? When moon, and that comes as we start ruling things out. So it'll be interesting to see how this year unfolds. So I think that'll do it for the price of Bitcoin. Now, just to give you a target here, if I pull this down, actually I'm going to pull it from this high. Be a little more conservative. I'll bring it back down here. And if we break 53, 54, I think a great target to have at that point would be nearly 100K. So between 94 and 98K, right? Now, everybody's going to expect 100K, but sometimes it'll either overshoot it or undershoot it, right? So put a line right there. So right in there, I'd say about 90 to 100K would be a great target to have. So what that would look like, right? Sideways accumulation, breakout. Sideways accumulation, breakout. Sideways accumulation or reaccumulation, right? Either one. But eventually we get up here. And that would be like the cycle peak, I would think, right? So that would probably be, I think, a 1, a 2, right? Now we're going into 3. We're in the third now, 4, and a 5. So it'll be interesting if we get an A, B, C, and then a continuation, or if it's just over, right? But we don't have to know that yet, because we're not even near that point yet. So just take it one step at a time. Okay, now I am taking a look at the price of Theta. And honestly, I'm sharing Bitcoin not because I hold a lot of Bitcoin or, but because it matters according to the altcoins. Now, Bitcoin is, let me take a Fibonacci retracement here. Wow, I can't even believe it. So Bitcoin that's why I love Fibonacci tools, because they tell you exactly where the price is according to, relative to what other prices are, right? So anyways, you could see Bitcoin is in between the 50 and the 618. So right in between there, between the 50 and the 618. So why would I buy Bitcoin, right, when you see Theta isn't even above the 236, right? So basically, if I come up here, Bitcoin is the equivalent of Theta being between $8.58 and $10.50. So I would say about $9. I would say about $9.50, right? So let me ask you a question. If Theta was $9.50, would you buy it? Probably not, right? I mean, obviously it's going to go higher than that if you're a big fundamental bull, right? Like I am, and but come on, if over the next, say 6 months, Theta got up to that almost $10 mark, you probably wouldn't be buying it as much, probably not at all, when you could have been buying it this whole time under $2, under $1, right? Look how long it's been in this area down here. Quite a long time. So, that's what I'm saying. Why would I buy Bitcoin when I can buy Theta? It has much more potential to go. So if I take a measurement here and I go all the way up here, that's about nearly a 600% increase, right? just to where Bitcoin is, just to know where Bitcoin is at, right? So that's why Fibonacci is a great tool, because it tells you where your price is relative to other assets, right? So anyway, what's going on with the price of Theta? Well, I still believe, and I've always said this, right? My first video was all the way down here. And you can go back and check if you want. But I basically said, look, this is very bullish. I'm expecting a retracement. And I'm expecting the price to get up, into these, retracement levels. And so far, we have been steadily making improvements. Now, like, it's not going to go up in a straight line or anything like that. But, since that first video, it has essentially been going up pretty nicely. So we still haven't had a very, I would say, a decent size correction. We had this, remember back, if you watched the Bitcoin video, I hope you did, because I could show you here. Let me go to the daily chart. Remember the running flat? Let me pull it up. So basically, I'm thinking, Bitcoin was in that, running flat stage, or the middle one. So you could see an expanded or irregular flat, right? So, you have an A, you have a B, and you have a C right there. And that's a flat. Just like over here, you have an A, a B, and a C, right? And the C can, it can be like this one where it breaks below here. Obviously, this one didn't. So that's like a running sort of correction, right? So, we had a correction, but it was a sort of a flat correction, a running correction. So, and that's a bullish, by the way, a very bullish correction. So, trying to figure out, well, what next, right? Well, at some point, I would like us to come down and retest this bull market support band. Now, we just got started. We just broke out. We're on our way up. We're challenging these. We're still working through these resistances. We haven't totally busted through them yet. So I would expect, maybe some struggle at the moment, at least until Bitcoin finishes its correction. Now, if you watch the Bitcoin part of the video, basically, one of the ideas is this is an A, this is a B, and now we're going down for C. Now, C can backtest this area, or it can come all the way down here, or it doesn't even have to break that high. It could be, like I said, a flat, a running flat, or expanded flat, and then a continuation. So if that's the case, and we get this down move, right? Now I'm going to go over the bullish case and the bearish case, but if we get that down move, what would that look like for Theta? Well, it too would probably be, just like an ABC. So A, working on our B wave, and then we come down for C and we back test this, or even retest this $1.15 area. So put it this way, if you're a Theta hodler, there's nothing to be worried about. There's everything to be excited about. Because two reasons. Number one, we have a lot of support, right? So we first stop, right, is this support, $1.20, between $1.15 and $1.20, right? So that would be the first stop here, and then a continuation, right? That would be support number one. So right here, support number one. If that doesn't make it, then we have support number two, which is what? Which is this bull market support band in here, right? So all of this in here. If that doesn't hold, then it starts to get a little concerning. But just know that Theta has a lot of wiggle room, right? Then I would be looking at this support in here, right? So about 85 cents. And that would sort of be my last line in the sand, Actually, it would probably be about 67, 68 cents would be my last line in the sand for the bullish thesis. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No. I don't think that's going to happen, not even close. Now, we could come back down and retest this area, but I don't think so, right? And there's not even really a discussion about it because we still haven't retested this area, let alone the bull market support band, which, by the way, the bull market support band will eventually be tested at some point. We just don't know when, right? It's better to test it more often than to not test it at all, right? Because you could see that Theta has not yet tested it, right? So it's not confirmed yet, theoretically, or I should say technically, right? So we broke above the bull market support band. We consolidated in this sort of expanding, running flat. We broke out again, and now we're consolidating again. We never came down and retested it. Now, if I'm a buyer of Theta, what I would be looking for is a retest of this bull market support band. So that's when I become a buyer, an accumulator, right? Or I should say, that's when I would go a little heavier on my dollar cost average. But until then, we're right up in resistance. We're challenging the highs. It's not really a place I'm interested in buying at the moment, right? If we come down and back test, maybe dabble a tiny bit, right? Not financial advice, but more so, I would be looking at this bull market support band. Now, it might not get tested. We might shoot way higher before it gets tested. And in that case, that's the dice you got to roll, right? But if you've already been hodling and stacking, you're happy regardless of what happens. So at this point, it's really anyone's guess until we break above all of this resistance. Now, we are above it ever so slightly, but it's not like a big, no questions asked type of thing. It's like it's battling it, right? So when I go to the weekly chart, right, and I take this and I put it on the close, then yeah, you can see we definitely broke out, right? We are definitely above it. Now, from a weekly perspective and a weekly close, which is good. So I want to see, the price hold above $1.23. That would be a great place to start. If we break below it, it's not a big deal because, again, we have this beautiful bull market support band. This is your best friend right here, to hold the price, So maybe we get up here, right? And then the price comes back down and meets it at some point, or maybe we get higher, right? And then the price comes down and meets it at some point. It really depends when it wants to hit it. But at some point, it will be hit. Now, looking at the TD sequential, we did have a 9 sell about 2 weeks ago, right? So here was the 9 buy right here. It said, hey, look, we have a good chance at going up. We had a perfected 9 buy after this 8. We came up, we came back down, consolidated with a new count, right? We made it all the way up to a 9. And now we can see we would like to have a 1 to 4 candle correction. So we did have one candle, which is, I guess, sufficient. You would like to have it around 2 or 3, right? But basically, you could see these red dots. See that red dot right there? Right in here, those red dots. So basically, what we want to see on Sunday is for the weekly chart to close above these red dots in here, which would be right at about $1.30. So by Sunday evening, I would like to see the price, and it doesn't have to, and if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. But, if you want to continue this bullish momentum with full steam ahead, then yeah, you want to see above $1.30. So we'll see if that happens. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, TD sequential, just go to Google, type in TD sequential, explanation. And basically, it's an exhaustion indicator. It lets you know when the price is becoming exhausted to the upside or to the downside. Now, just because you get a 9 sell doesn't mean the price is going to reverse. It could just be, a consolidation and then a continuation, right? Or it could be a full-fledged reversal. So, but that will be a topic for another day. Now, I haven't showed you this, but this is the EMA ribbon on the monthly chart. You could see we are slamming right into all of that resistance. We have pretty big resistance up ahead, and you could see it's a cluster of that ribbon, which is basically, a series of moving averages between 20 up to the 55 on the monthly scale. And you can see we also have those red dots. Let me see. You see those red dots in there? So basically, I really want to see the monthly candle at some point. It's probably not going to be this month. I mean, it could be, but maybe the next month, right, is break above those red dots above $1.71. So we'll see. So, we want to get through that. So looking at it from a monthly perspective, right? Let me take this off because we don't need it anymore. If I scroll up here, you could see, okay, this is a good development. Check this out. Now, the month just started, right? We're in the beginning of January. A lot can happen. But basically, what I would like to see is for the month of January. Now, if it doesn't get that $1.70 area, I really want to see this right here. See these candles right in here? I want to see those closes get broken, which they are. Look at that. This is the highest monthly candle going all the way back of May of last year. No, I'm sorry, May of 2022, right? So it's been a long time. So let's see. This is a big deal right here. Let's see if we can get a close above $1.36. Let me put it right on the dot so we make sure. I'm going to put it right about there. So about $1.34. So by February, right, 1st, we want to see it close above, or January, I think January is 31st, right? Yeah, the end of the month, we want to see it close above these candles, these closes right in here. So that would be a big milestone. Now, we did, however, close above this candle right here. The month of December, we closed above all of these candles right in here. So that was a big, major accomplishment that we knocked it out of the park, right? So now we're on our new month, and now we want to challenge these candles and break above that. So it's basically getting above resistance, consolidating, getting above resistance. We got to cut through all of that resistance, and it can be challenging, and it can take some time. But from what I see, look how monstrous this is. I mean, look at this. Green, 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 green. These are some pretty beautiful candles up here. And I really like what I see. Like I said, that first data video was down here around 64 cents. And it's great to see we have that follow through, because I'm still expecting much more upside in a retracement. Now, I'm not saying we're going to break new all-time high, even though I believe we will at some point. But first order of business is to get into these retracement levels, which I believe we are on our way. So let's look at... So check this out. This is actually a big deal. This is the weekly chart. This is the weekly EMA ribbon. Now check this out. we have totally busted through and broken through all of the EMA ribbons, including the bull market support band, right? So from a weekly perspective, we are incredibly bullish. From a monthly perspective, we are running into those EMA ribbons. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, for those of you like the Ichimoku cloud, look at this. We have completely broken above the cloud, right? I'm not a cloud reader. I'm not sure how it goes, right? But I know that we have a good breakout here, right? And this is from the weekly perspective. So you could see it. We've busted right through it. So all signs are saying, hey, we're bullish. Now again, if I go to the monthly chart, I would assume that that isn't the case. No, look at that. The cloud's way the heck up here, right? So that's not the case yet. But that's fine. That's no big deal, right? We're looking at it one step at a time, right? And from a weekly perspective, we are golden. Now check this out. This is the Bollinger Bands. I'm kind of running through indicators here. Look at that. We are, slicing up against that upper echelon of that Bollinger Band, which is it's a good thing. I mean, you can see over here, right? Look what happened. We got through it, consolidated, retested that bull market support band, then continued on higher, right? So let me try something. If I get a bars pattern, you can kind of visualize what that would look like here, right? So if I take that, put that over here. So, something like that, right? Not saying that's going to happen, but just as a visualization of the Bollinger Band getting busted through and the bull market support band, which now is orange. So, yeah. Okay, so check this out. This is called the Lucid SAR. Basically, it's pretty simple to read. When we're above the stars, I just call them stars. When we're above the stars, we are bullish. When we are below the stars, we are bearish. And right now, from a weekly perspective, again, another indicator, we are bullish. Now, if I go to the monthly chart, I'm pretty sure, let's see. Oh, look at that. We broke through it from a monthly perspective. I did not know that. Check that out. So you can sort of see here, right? So check this out. We're above the star, or I'm sorry, we're below the star. Then we break through it. We consolidate, right? That's actually where I drew that fractal too. And then we continue on up. The stars are gradually moving up and they're supporting the price. And then look what happened. This star right here, this candle right here broke the count, or it flipped the indicator. Now the stars are above, and basically all of this is the bear market. So all the stars were below the stars, right, is a bear market. But look what happened. We broke above the star, right? And now they're below. So this is a very good sign. So we'll see if we can continue that momentum to the upside. Another indicator, another A+, if you ask me. And that line right there is the 200-week moving average. I really want to see eventually getting above that 200-week moving average. So that'll be a good thing. So here is the weekly RSI, and notice right in here, right? This is sort of what we had right in here. So the RSI getting into that overbought territory. And look at the RSI right now. It is crossing into that area, which is a good sign. Now people can say, oh, that means it's overbought. No. It technically it is going into overbought territory, but that's what you want to see. That's what you need to see. And look how long, right? When Theta was only at 33 cents, it was in that upper area, right? Let's see. It was it was in that upper area. And then, the price came back down and it sort of, whiplashed all up in here, right? Which then caused what? This big run up, right? So we're only at the very beginning of that, right? So we can see something similar like this, something like that, right? Before ultimately coming back down, right? Just like that, You know what I'm saying? So that's a good sign. Now, I think this should be the last one. Last but not least, the MACD, right? The MACD. So the MACD looks very nice. Basically stands for moving average convergence divergence. So you could see it has been flipped bullish, right? And you can see, we started from down here and now we're crossing up into that bullish territory, right? Just like back over here, as soon as we crossed above this bullish area, that's when the price really started to accelerate. So, not saying it's going to accelerate like it did before, but at least get us into the retracement levels and then we can reevaluate from there. Now, what does the monthly look like? So this is the I think this is the grand finale. This is what I really, really wanted to show you. This is incredibly bullish. Look at that. I mean, that is like firing on all cylinders, right? I mean, just look at that. First of all, we have the cross. Big deal. And now you can see the histograms, right? I think that's what they're called. The histograms, they're actually going down, which is a good sign. And then boom, they flipped bullish, which is a perfect thing, exactly what we wanted to see. And remember, this is the monthly chart. This is the granddaddy of them, right? So we have a bullish MACD crossover on the monthly chart with, follow through of the histograms. So that's a good thing. Now, remember, it's a monthly chart, so it doesn't mean moon tomorrow or next month or, it's going to take some time, right? So we're at the very beginning of the beginning. We still want to see these lines come up here, and the histograms continue up here before ultimately then coming back down, right? So we'll see how that starts to transpire. But basically, yeah, that's what we got here. So I don't want to make this video too long. I still think that we're going into the retracement levels, and also that this was some type of Wyckoff accumulation, right? Where basically we had our spring phase, right? We had our spring phase, and now we're sort of in this area right in here. So maybe we have another hit to the high. We break this. Now it can happen two different ways, right? So one of the ways is we do this, consolidate and then continue higher, or we break this high, come up a little higher, then we consolidate, then we continue higher. And I'm just going by the example, right? You can see the example right here. You can see that right there. So something like this. Now, doesn't have to do that at all. It can do its own thing, right, in its own way, but something to that effect. And maybe during that time, we can meet up with that bull market support band, or, even better, back test this area up here. But we want to see a little bit more follow through first, break above the area, back test it, just like this line in here, right? We break above it, we back test, we continue higher. So, this is a nice bullish uptrend. Eventually, we're going to get a counter trend, but that counter trend is going to be a bullish thing, right? So, some type of consolidation before a bigger move higher is what we want to see, right? Now, the price can obviously just continue grinding and grinding up, right? And I think it has a good chance of doing that too, right? It really depends how bullish it is. So basically, the big stop here would be between what, $1.25 through maybe $2.80. So up in there, at some point, I think we will get up there. Now, the question is, do we sort of do that Wyckoff thing where, we consolidate above the back test area and then shoot up? Or do we just, continue, grinding our way up here, right? Before then having that bigger correction and then the bull market support band, right? And then you see what I mean? So, your guess is as good as mine, but the point of this video is to say all the indicators are bullish. The MACD, the RSI, the Ichimoku cloud, right? Even the sequential above the bull market support band, the EMA weekly ribbon, Bitcoin at its retracement level. So the recipe for this is looking nice. So we just have to wait and get some more confirmation. I don't know if I'm going to have time for Solana, because if I do Solana, then the video goes over an hour, then people don't watch it. You know what I mean? So I might still do it anyway. Why not? But yeah, basically that's all I have for Theta. No real big changes, except we're still very bullish. Now if I go to the very short time frame, see the 4-hour chart. Yeah, we're just chilling. I think I talked about the short time frame in one of the other videos, but basically this could be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a diag A, B, C, retest the bull market support band, then continue higher. Or if that's not it, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5, then come back down, retest the bull market support band. Or simply, right, we're in this this sort of, base channel, right? Something like that. Not perfect, but we're just oscillating. Break up, oscillating in here. Maybe we come back down, retest the bottom of the channel, and then continue higher, right? So a lot of different things can happen. I'm not so much of a short-term person. I think, there's a couple different ways you can look at it, actually a lot. And it's no point in guessing, but, obviously this is an impulse wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it looks like. We have a pullback. Now we can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can maybe pull back a little bit more, then continue higher. I mean, this looks like a bull flag to me, doesn't it to you? Let's see, what would the measured move be on that bull flag here? If I take this here, not going to be so perfect, but, and then I draw a line from here up to here, right? Looks like a bull flag to me. Then I take that and I put it right there, right about there or so. You're looking at $1.68, and that is coincidentally, right? Actually, let me put the line here. But in TA, usually there are no coincidences. So let me zoom out now. Look at that. It gets us right back. Look at that. It gets us right back to that pivot, that high. And that's the guy we need to get through, right? That's the big tough guy at the door that we need to get through. So make sure you got your ID. No. But anyways, guys, yeah, that looks very promising. I like this flat correction in here. It looks nice. It looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2. It looks like it's going to set up for some bullish action, right? So sooner or later, that's going to be broken. But yeah, that's basically it for Theta. I'll do more of an update later on throughout the week, but I'm starting not to really like this left shoulder head, right? We come up here. We could still come down and get that right shoulder, right? And then also that right shoulder would meet up with the bull market support band, then continue higher. So, up or down is usually it. But overall, it's up, which is the main important thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at the price of Solana briefly. So here's Solana. Now, would I buy Solana? No. Why? Because it's like Bitcoin. It's already way high up into the retracement levels. If I was holding it, I don't own Solana. I'm an idiot. I wish I did. I told myself, when we were up here that I would buy it, never did. But if I take a retracement level, we are right at that 382. So we do still have a good amount of room to the upside. I really want to see us get up to the 618 or the 702, right? So if you're new to the channel, just because you're watching the Solana, I recommend watching the other videos to understand the context in which I'm about to tell you. So normally, and I can show you with Bitcoin, so basically normally you have, this is the phases, right? The 5 phases of the market. You have, this, obviously your base, right? But the first phase is a rise, which is your bull market. Then you have a bear market, crash. So you have a rise, crash, and then you go into a retracement. And then you come back down for reaccumulation, sideways, and then you continue higher. That's usually how it goes. So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, go. Now, I'm not going to get too much into Solana. I mean, basically, I'm looking at it like the price of Theta, the options of Theta. So if you go back a couple videos and watch that Theta video, basically the same thing applies. The only difference is Solana is much more ahead of Theta, right? As far as the retracement, it's leading the pack, right? So I'm looking at Solana, and I'll do a more thorough analysis on Solana, but basically I'm looking at it like this. A couple options. Option number one, for example, price of Bitcoin. This will be option number one. You see here we have a rise, a crash, a retrace, reaccumulation, blast off. And the reaccumulation was basically a sideways box. So rise, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, blast off. Same exact thing for Solana, right? You have a rise, a crash, a retrace. Now we might go down for reaccumulation, sideways for a bit. It might suck for a while, but hey, that's what's needed in order to continue the price higher, right? Because think about it. If you're a whale, you probably already bought down here. Why would you buy up here? You wouldn't. So if you're a whale, you want to buy it cheaper. So how do you identify that? Well, after the retracement comes reaccumulation. And as the price is, in accumulation in this box here, as the bull market support band meets up with it, that's when the whales say, okay, I'm adding to my position. It's at a discount, right? It's $108 now. It can get all the way down below 50 before continuing higher. Now, you might not believe that now, right, because of how bullish the sentiment is, but trust me, that's usually how things work. A great example of that is something like XRP. Same type of thing, we have a rise, crash, retrace. Now, think about Theta being right in here. I'm sorry, think about Solana being right in here. Rise, crash, retrace. Solana's right here. We come down a little bit, we go sideways, and then we blast off. Now, do I think it's going to go sideways that long? No, but it's just an example to explain it to you. So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. Same thing for Solana. Again, rise, crash, retrace, come down, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, right? So yeah, that's I'm not gonna get too much into it, but that's sort of what I believe. Do I think it has more upside in the short term? Possibly, right? But looking at this here, this is your base right here. That was your base. We broke out. Now we're potentially going to create another base, right? So a lot can happen, like I said in the big Bitcoin video. A lot can happen because we are at the retracement levels. This is either we get out of here and we go, or the bearish case would be this. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A. Now we're in B. Then we're going to get C. C is going to devastate the market, right? Going all the way down potentially between 5 and uh, $5 and $10, right? That would suck, right? But hey, it's possible because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, and then we go down for C, and then we go to the moon. That's a possibility. Uh, the other possibility is some sort of reaccumulation where, we have a rise, crash, retrace. We come down a lot further, coming back down into this base down in here, reaccumulating, and then continuing higher. If it wants to remain bullish, then it can reaccumulate at the top of the range, not at the bottom of the range. If it wants to be bearish, then it's an A, B, C, and then go. So that's basically it from a long-term perspective. Now, looking at it from a short-term perspective, I don't want this video to be long, but you can see, an ABC working here. You have your A, your B, and now you're working on C. So now what would be nice is if this was rather a 1, 2, and now this is 3, and then we come down for 4, retest that bull market support band, then go up for 5, breaking this top, right? So a couple different ways. I'm going to see how the price reacts over the next month, see how it plays out. But right now, am I a buyer of Solana? No, it's been one of the ones that have been publicly hyped up and people talking about it. The price mooned a lot. Yeah, it could continue to go higher, but from a risk perspective, I'd rather shop around for others that are down in here, right? Like for example, Theta is down in here. XRP is way down and is way down there, right? So yeah, that's how I see the market. So basically, yeah, that's it. I'll touch more on Solana. I just don't want the video to be excessively long, then people won't watch it. But hopefully they will, knowing that it's in 3 different chapters, right? First part Bitcoin, second Theta, third Solana. Also, real quick, Blockchain Backer, great YouTube channel. He shared this chart right here. Very bullish. This is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So basically all the altcoins. I mean, just take a look at that. Bullish MACD, bullish RSI, right? Putting it all together, you can see the confluence in there. Very nice. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you so much for your support, for your views. And, I didn't think, I just started my channel, really started doing videos about a few months ago. So it's nice to see that people find it valuable, almost close to 20,000 views overall. That's amazing. I'm very honored and thankful that people find value in what I share. I try to not be, just another person spewing out the same type of information everywhere else. I mean, most videos out there are 10, 20, 30 minutes long. I try to go a little longer to get more information out. For me, it's more the merrier, right? So very, very nice. If you haven't already, I'd really like to see this channel get to 500 subscribers. I think for me, that would be a great milestone and, an awesome thing. Because like I said, an hour-long video, that's like 6 10-minute videos in one video, right? So I can break it up like that and get more views. But for me, it's just like, nah, I'd rather just do it in one video, get all the information out so that people can understand the different probabilities of what we're looking at here. So here's a chart. This is, by the way, this is YouTube analytics. So look at that. That's cool. I mean, I really started my channel in October. So October, November, December. It's nice to see the growth. And again, I thank you so much for your subscription, for your likes, for your comments. It really helps a small channel like mine grow and continue to grow, right? So again, thank you and have a great new year. If there's any coins you want me to take a look at, drop them in the comment section below. I might take a look at them, and yeah, basically, there's nothing to be worried about. I think crypto is in a very prime position. 2024 is interesting because, like I said, Bitcoin is at that upper, echelons, right, in the retracement levels. But then you have coins like Theta that haven't done it, and like XRP hasn't done it. So a lot of coins, I think, have great potential percentage values upcoming in this year for big increases. And I can't wait to see how that plays out. And here is my Twitter, or X if you want to follow me. You could see I barely joined in September. That's because for some reason they banned my account, right? They totally terminated my account, got suspended. I have no idea why. That was months ago. All I do is post charts. I don't, doesn't make sense. My post, I tried to reach out to support, they never helped me. So I basically lost all the people I was following and they were following me. And the same thing would happen with Facebook too. I had, a lot of friends and they banned me and I had to create a new Facebook. It's like, man, what the heck? What am I doing wrong here? So, social media is just is a threat on free speech. I mean, even like if you follow the digital asset investor, he got his account, but thankfully he has a big community that helped him get his Twitter back, right? So that's nice to to have that community, and there's nothing better than the crypto community, even though there could be tribalism. But at the end of the day, it's us versus the central banks. It's all about we the people versus the deep state central banking system, and that's how it's always been, and that's why crypto is a big threat to their system. That's why they don't want to regulate it. They want to create this Bitcoin ETF as a replacement for regulation, or as a distraction from regulation, right? When an ETF is just a security, right? So I've talked about that in other videos, don't really want to get too much into it, but basically it's a war over the new financial system, and crypto is a big part of it. Not to say it's got to be Bitcoin or it's got to be this or it's got to be that, but blockchain in general definitely is not to be messed with. It's here to stay. So, and to me, we're at the beginning of the beginning, and it's a great thing, and hopefully we have an exciting future ahead of us, and I believe we will. And like I said, it's an election year, so a lot of crazy things can happen. But I'm here to enjoy the ride and see it through. So anyways, thank you guys again. I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.